My name is Rhea Nambalirwa, and I'm an international student who came from Uganda, and I came to America September 10th, 2011. Honestly, I would say I have so many favorite stories, but if I'm to make it precise, I say my favorite memories or stories are when I was attending boarding school in high school. I attended a school called St. Mary's Chitende, and I attended that school for 6 years, boarding school. And I would say my favorite memories in there were, I think, like I met friends during, like, when you're in boarding school, you meet these friends who like are friends with you for like life. Like these friends that I met then are still my friends up to now. Like they're like sisters and brothers. This is a time when you're like at school, you don't have parents to guide you. All you have are your books and your teachers. And, you know, making it your home, like boarding school was like my home. Like even though I went back home for holidays, I looked forward to going back to boarding school. Like that's where my friends were. So I really would say most of my special memories were in boarding school. Like this was a time where I was able to like participate in a lot of sports. Like I used to play netball, like that's not played in the United States, but I used to play netball, and I used to participate like in different activities. I used to dance at school, and I remember we had this anniversary, like the 10-year anniversary for my school, and I had to do my traditional dance for the whole school, and like, oh, that was like really great. So that's like one of my most special memories, like attending boarding school in my country, like kind of molded me into who I am. You had limited resources. You had your parents visit you once, like, or twice a term, which was like a period of 4 months. But like, because of the friendships that you had and the support system from your teachers, like they molded you into to being that person of you can survive without like your parents being there. You can thrive in this environment, and like it became my home. I loved it. Like some people, boarding schools are just like a place whereby you feel like you're being tortured to be there, but I felt like it was home to me. So primarily, I left Uganda for education purposes. Um, I was presented with an education opportunity to come study from St. Catherine University, and thinking about it, looking at like my friends who were already in the United States and the opportunities that the country had, provided them with, this was an opportunity I was not going to miss. It was like, I'm grabbing this and I'm hanging on tight to it. So that was like the main reason why I came to the United States. But particularly why I was more attracted to St. Kitts or Minnesota is also because there is a Ugandan community here. Like, yeah, we do have a Ugandan community here. We have a group of like older Ugandans, and then you have the younger college youth going community. So those were people who gave me insight about how it is in Minnesota, and like what life is here, what kind of expectations to have. They told me about like Minnesota nice. So like that kind of made even the opportunity more clear. Like I really went heads on to come and have an education here. So that was like the main reason. Coming to the United States, as a person seeking different opportunities, being foreign to this land has taught me like a lot of different experiences. It has taught me to be hardworking. The fact that you meet a lot of very competitive people, it has taught me that you have to step outside of your comfort zone. If if you have a dream and you keep on dreaming, that dream can come true. Like I have learned that there are available resources for me to be a better person individually and also to be able to contribute positively to my community. Like this is a place where I have been able to understand more about what I can bring to the table. So like I feel like I'm more determined and encouraged by the people around me to do that, like to do better than myself. So, you know, growing up, I did not ever think I was going to ever come and study from the United States. Never. But, you know, as you grow up, you start to think bigger. So for me, like coming here, it has made me think bigger. It has made me start looking at, oh, I actually have the capacity to do bigger than what my expectations of myself were before. So, like for example, I am planning on getting a master's degree. But that's not something I would have ever thought about before. But now I know the value of an education. Like my mom always says, the books never lie. So when you see that you have all these opportunities and resources, like you just want to utilize each and every one of them. Like, so I am in a state that, you know, has great universities, has great opportunities after you graduate. And my, you know, like the environment has just nurtured me into that thing of there's so much like we have to offer and it's up to you to go ahead and grab it. Like it's going to be your efforts and your drive that is going to get you there. Like I just feel like on another level, like culture-wise, I feel like I've learned so much about other people's cultures in Minnesota. Like, for example, my friends, like Americans, like when you think about Americans, you think about white people. But that's not what, you know, our state is made of. It's made of a very diverse culture. And me coming here, I'm adding to that diversity. But they're also helping me learn more about their cultures, meaning I become more diversified in how I think about, you know, Minnesotans, people in the United States, you know, what they contribute to me as a person and what values do I add to them as people. So I feel like in that area, I feel like I'm now a more diverse person, more open-minded to other people's ideas. But also, you know, I feel like I've learned a lot about being positive and a good learner.
That's good.
But like I've learned how to appreciate more, like about the resources that are offered to us. Things that I never thought about before. Like I can see me, if I know now that if I focus on something or getting something done, I know I can achieve it because I get the support system to achieve that. So I have been here for about 5 years now, and I would say like I haven't experienced like anything that I like really feel like I am not supposed to be here. Like sometimes you encounter people who are just negative, and just because you're a person of color or you have a thicker accent, that may throw them off. But then I feel like for the rest of the people I've encountered, for the majority, I've had a good experience with them. I've had a very welcoming experience. To me, Minnesota is like, for the past 5 years, I feel like it has just been a land of opportunities for me. It has been a place whereby I've got an education. I've graduated with a great degree. You know, I've been able to get internships when it comes to like work. I've been able to get a job out of, you know, 1 to 3 months out of college, I was working. I've had good mentors to mentor me into like, you know, what is work life, you know, what is the expectations of being an employer in an organization that cares about more about the people, like serving the people versus working for profits. So, I've had people like Jessica Broker, like they mentor me like into being a better person. Like that's what makes my experience here really great, because it's like someone sees more value in you than even seeing yourself. So I've had great supervisors and great co-workers. Yeah, like I've had great co-workers. Like my first experiences like in a workplace too have been great. So overall, I've had a good education. That education has paid off by me getting a good job. And I feel like Minnesota is like one of the most livable states when it comes to economics, standards. People here get jobs. It's easier for you to find a job in Minnesota than in New York City. So it doesn't matter if it's a cold state. It's the opportunities that it provides for you, and the ability to have resources available to you that really counts for me. Yeah. So I think that's what contributes most to like my experience. Like you can see I'm smiling. That means it was a good experience. Coming to Minnesota, first day I arrived here, I met a lady called Mary Ryan. She's my friendship mom. I would call her my American mom. And ever since I met Mary Ryan, I felt like she opened up my eyes to Minnesota as a positive environment, like a place where I can build friends, community, and like family. I met very many like other people, like St. Kate's staff. I have a lady, she's my advisor, I would call her mentor too. She's called Nora V. Hoff. She's part of the international admissions at St. Kate's. And like she's very focused on helping us adjust to the new culture, to the weather, to Minnesota nice, like trying us to manage our expectations about the new environment that we're in. So I think that was like the nice part about it. Like we had someone to help us manage what our expectations were. So I didn't have that very bad problem of encountering people and expecting them to do this and then I get that. So I kind of had those expectations managed, which helped my adjustment to get better. Yeah, like being a person of color, I was really welcomed. By my school itself, we have a very diverse student body. I was able to join all these different clubs and organizations that included students of color, and that helped me like show like a different side of my culture while learning more about like what is Minnesota about. Like my friendship mom, she has made it like a point to help me learn more about Minnesota. We go to like different parts of Minnesota. For example, we always go to like the museum, the historical center, Minnesota Historic Center, and we always go to that event. Is it 9 nights of music? 9 nights of music. Yeah, like those are things that I had never experienced, but we go there, we experience different forms of music, dance, drama. She helps you, she takes you to concerts, so you know about like the history of Minnesota. She takes you to Christmas concerts, you get to learn more about like what it is, how is Christmas celebrated here. When it's Thanksgiving, she's welcoming. She invites me to her house, invites her other friends. When it's like independence, she makes me read the Declaration of Independence, things like that. Like they make you feel more like you have a family here, even though my family is far away. Having my friendship mom here kind of closed that gap and made it a bit smaller. Like I would talk to my parents, but like I knew I was gonna spend Christmas at Mary's, so like that made me feel more at home and more welcomed. It was easy to make friends both at school and outside of school. But it's those people that, you know, encouraged you to be more open-minded and, you know, not to take offense all the time when someone approaches you and they ask you something that is offensive. That made me feel like, you know what, I feel really welcome here. Like there are people who care about me and not only my education but my well-being as well. So yeah, I think I liked Minnesotans from the beginning. Yeah. For sure, I don't know what Minnesotans would do to be more welcoming, because to me, this is like the most welcoming state I've ever been in. I've visited other states, but I feel more welcome here. I would say that maybe instead of being just Minnesota nice, people should try on making real relationships with others. Like, just don't be nice to me. Try to know me. Try to understand my culture. Let me understand yours. Like that way, then we can be able to make I feel like that way we make a better community that is less of individualism, but more about like togetherness. Like that's what I would think Minnesotans would do to be better people. They're already good people though.
Yeah.
To me, being a Minnesotan means staying true to my values, but also being open-minded to learn about other people's cultures. That makes me a more welcoming person, because then I am willing to learn about others. I would say also being Minnesotan to me means being hardworking, caring about others more than yourself. So like doing something with your life that benefits others more than just yourself. I've been offered the opportunity to go live in Boston because I now have family in Boston, but I still choose Minnesota. Yeah, and you know, my family can't put their head around why, but I feel like it's just that environment that people make you feel like you matter, your culture is welcome, like you're not just some other employee or some other student. Like I've been given the opportunity to show that I have a contribution to make. So like that's what really makes me feel like I have had a great experience here. Yeah, like I went to boarding school since primary, like elementary school. So I have learned how to be on my own, like for the longest time. So coming here, like at first it was like challenging not being from my parents, but I think my past experiences like made it easier for me to adjust. And I would say right now, I would say I love I miss my parents, but I can do so much more. Like I can meet the expectations of me without them being on my like behind my back to tell me this is what we expect of you. Like I have had people who have nurtured me into being a better person in Minnesota than I feel like I would ever get anywhere around the world. So like those experiences have just made me a better person, and I feel like I'm ready to conquer the world.
You definitely are.
Thank you for the opportunities. Thanks to our like representatives who, you know, work very hard every day to provide a safer and better livable city and state for us. You know, we, the immigrants of the state, really appreciate the efforts that you put in. Thank you very much.